Hello guys, welcome to my channel Lucid Fanfic, and if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on our latest videos. So be sure to stick around until the end, and let's get started. Me POV. I came back after doing some studies for another test coming up. Me. Well, that's that time to see how my stories are doing. I then plopped myself into a chair where I brought out my phone and scrolled through my notifications. Me. Updates on stories I like, more views, comments, and I went to check in my story and saw its ranking for Hololive. Honestly, you guys are somehow crazy when it comes to this. Seeing this just makes me want to yeet my own heart to space, so thank you for supporting this story a lot. It was such a blessing for me. I was about to close my phone when I received another notification only to see this. I blinked once, twice, then came multiple blinks that I lost count. My eyes are trying to process this. What in God hell am I seeing? I mean, I know my story is good, but for one of my favorite authors to see this wants me to flood my room. I then put my phone away where I put my hands on my nose, to which I may seem calm, but inside I'm like hyperventilating. Well, let's ignore myself for now. After all, you came for this chapter. In POV. Well, just a few days passed by, and Izuku's nightmares seemed to be subsided for a while as he was sleeping peacefully. He was rather having normal dreams, if you can even call him having vigilante patrols as his dreams. Anyways, it was morning and Izuku was going outside where he was going to the bank to deposit his money and create a credit card. When Izuku arrived, he was staring at a long line in the room, like it can circle the moon as well. Izuku internally sighed before waiting in line. He was waiting forever for the line to end, that it took up a large chunk of time in the morning, to which Izuku was not happy about. He was even working today and had to tell his boss that he's going to be late. Thankfully, the boss didn't mind, as he seems to also suffer from long lines once. What seems to be hours has passed, and Izuku was finally at the front of the line where when he went accountant, but luck just interrupted him yet again. So the doors busted open and many men walked in. They were wearing masks on their faces and they were carrying guns. They then started to point it at the people in the bank, where they shouted, "Unknown character. Everyone on the ground, or else we will shoot you." The people then dropped down and lay down on the ground to avoid losing their life. Even Izuku does it, as if he were to stand they would shoot, and he would have been caught showing his powers. Honestly, Izuku was getting tired of how bizarre his luck is, but he has to accept it, as fate gave him the most craziest of life, while not as crazy as how destructive fantasy anime destruction. While Izuku was going to do something before a bullet came in through the window of the building and shot down one of the crooks. Izuku. Unknown character. Man down. Unknown character. Did you see where the bullet came from? Unknown character. Presses his walkie-talkie. Sniper found anything? We then go to the roof of the bank where we see someone hiding behind a sign, where he was looking through the scope out of a small hole behind the sign. Unknown character. Tell me the angle it came from. Unknown character. It came from the northeast, with the bullet having a 54-degree angle. Unknown character. I found something as well. The bullet seems to be one of high quality, so a pretty good sniper must have been used. Unknown character. Well then, readies his sniper. Let's do this. Izuku heard about this, and when the crook's head turned, he used one for all at a small percentage, but vanished. He then went to the roof of the bank, where he sees the sniper looking through the scope. From that, Izuku uses his eyes following the snipers to see a building with a little thing poking out of the top of it. When Izuku focused his eyes more, he could see it. 500 meters away from where he is. A person on the roof. She has lion ears. She was wearing what appears to be clothing that makes her look like she is from a SWAT team. She was even holding a sniper looking through the scope. She pulled the trigger and the bullet got shot out. She seemed to have hit another crook in the building, but from Izuku's eyes, she has impressive marksmanship that it's hard for her to miss her target. And now Izuku fully recognized her. Hololive JP Gen 5's expert of all guns member, the White Lioness. Shishiro Boten. She was carefully choosing her targets in the bank. She may be a lioness, but her eyes are like hawks that can't miss their prey. But she didn't notice the sniper on the top of the bank due to him being behind a sign and aiming the sniper at Boten. Izuku. Shoot, he's gonna fire on her. Izuku activated one for all and went for a quick kick to the guy's head, sending it through the sign. But when he did, the gun bullet got fired, but it was only sent into the air above. But that sound made Boten's ears flinch, and she looked through the scope to see the other sniper having his upper body through the sign of the bank. Boten. How weird, who sent that sniper through the sign? She didn't pay much attention before she looked inside the building, but noticed all the crooks on the floor and the civilians celebrating. Botan. Wait, what? I swore that at least 7 more were still standing. Let's go a bit back in time. Flashback. After Izuku sent the sniper through the sign, he then vanished himself back into the same spot he was before. No one noticed him coming back, so he was in the clear. He saw one of the crook pointing the gun at the attendant and was about to shoot. Izuku closed his eyes again, but opens them again to see it having a hint of red in it before pressure was then sent throughout the room. Silence, that was all that was heard at that moment before all the crooks dropped one by one. As they did, they were already unconscious. The civilians in the bank then stood up one by one before cheering that the crooks somehow fainted and they are now safe. End of flashback. Botan was still on the roof of the building before putting her sniper away. Botan, I don't know who did that, but you have my thanks for saving them, whoever you are. Izuku in the bank felt smiling randomly for some reason, and he can't tell why. But even so, it must be someone thanking him, even if indirectly. Izuku then left the bank after the police came and some medics to check their conditions. He was tired that day before he received a call. Izuku, who's calling me right now? He picked it up before being met with a sigh of relief on the other end. Boss, kid, you good? Izuku, boss? Well, why are you calling me right now? Boss, I just asked, are you good, cause I saw a bank robbery on the news, and it was the same bank you were going to. Izuku, no sir, I'm unharmed, no need to worry. Boss, still it's my job to check my employees' well-being, so for now, take a few days of rest. Izuku, yes sir, that's too much for me. Boss, no, not backing down, you seem to need to recover from it. Izuku, I understand, boss. Boss, good, then see you soon, kid. The call ended, leaving Izuku to sigh at this. He now received more break, of course people would be glad, but Izuku doesn't want to slack off on anything. He just wants to work only regularly, but it seems his boss was so insistent on him taking a few days of rest he had to. At least he has a kind boss who does that for him. So Izuku was then walking back to his apartment, not having anything to do, before he hears some ruffling sounds in an alleyway. He was eager to see what was in there, as it is his first instinct, but he checked his surroundings first before going in, just in case if he has to fight a random crook. When he went there, he see a dog and a cat playing with each other. The dog is brown fur, and it looks so playful with the cat. It even has a dog bone clipped to its hair. The cat, on the other hand, is not mad or anything with the dog. It's just chill and accepted the playfulness of the dog. The cat has light violet fur with some gray stripes on it. They both were being playful before hearing a sound before turning their heads to Izuku, who was staring at them. Izuku didn't do much but stare at them as they stared back, but he lowered himself down and put out his hands. The dog went to him, and Izuku pet it, to which the dog was barking. The cat took its time walking to Izuku before moving its head on of Izuku's hand, to which he scratches the bottom of the cat's head, to which it purred. Izuku, you both seem to have a lot of fun with each other. Smiles. The dog barks and the cat meows as well, but in a bit of a low tone that makes Izuku think it doesn't trust him. But that was not it at all. Izuku, well, where are your owners? Looks around. Izuku tried to see if the dog and cat has a collar, but to his surprise they don't. Being the kind person he is, he asked, Izuku, well, since you don't have an owner, want me to be the owner? Both the dog and the cat jumped on him, in response to which he nearly fall over, but was able to keep standing. Izuku, geez, be careful when jumping on me, I may fall, chuckles while petting their heads. He then carried both of them to his apartment, where when he brought them, they then started jumping around the room and sometimes tackling each other. Izuku, hey, don't start playing around too much, smiles, but I'm gonna go buy you food, I'll be right back. He then left the room, to when the door closed, the dog and cat just stood there for a few moments before smoke enveloped them and dispersing. Unknown character. Well, that was such a kind person, right, Korone Naya? Korone. Yeah, okay, he seems to be a fun person as well. Okay, well, let's enjoy the time we have with him right now. After Izuku left the apartment, he was jogging across the sidewalk, going to a nearby store to buy cat and dog food. He was able to enter the store and bought it with no issues. When he left and jogged back, there was a roadblock in front of him, so he went into the alleyway to get there quicker. What he didn't know is there is someone in a building holding a walkie-talkie. Unknown character. He's gone into the alleyway, so knock him out. Unknown character. Roger, aiming the tranquilizer gun. We then go a sniper on a far building where he is looking through his scope to look at Izuku running down the alleyway before he shot it. Izuku was running before he felt a sting to the neck. Izuku, what th, falls over unconscious. Unknown character. Got him now, be sure to get him so we can bring him to the government. Unknown character. Roger, I'm out. That person then turned off the walkie-talkie where they jumped off the building and walked towards the boy. They approached him before picking him up and putting him over her shoulder before leaving. Unknown character. Sorry, but ever since the general saw you through the cameras, we can't let you do whatever you want. Time skip. Izuku's eyes were slowly waking up as he slowly looks around him to see only walls around him. His head was still hazy from going unconscious. It took time for him before he fully sees his surroundings. When he fully got his head back in the game, he looked to see metal walls all around him. We was about to say something before. Unknown character. So you're awake now, Izuku Midoriya, or is it even your real name? Izuku, huh? Who are you? Unknown character. Well, it's best to say you're in government base right now, and you're being held. Izuku. What did I do to you guys? I have nothing on me. Unknown character. It's not what you have on you, it's what's in you. Izuku. Eyes widen. Do they know about my powers? Unknown character. If you're wondering if we know, we reviewed the footage back at the bank. Out of all of them, unusual things happens during the robbery, such as a sniper on the roof being through a sign, crooks knocked out randomly, but the most that stands out is you disappearing. Izuku. Shoot, they now know about me. Unknown character. As such, we were designed to make sure that people with weird powers are to not be known to this world, as it can cause chaos. Izuku. Wait, unusual people, weird powers. Designed to make sure if they were not known. Don't tell me you're in charge of. Unknown character. Yes, you may have guessed it, we are in charge of the people in Hololive to make sure the people who see them out in public turns a blind eye to them. Izuku. So I'm guessing you want me to not do anything outside too freely, huh? Unknown character. That's one of the reason, but since no one is here, they won't mind me saying you committed suicide. Chuckles darkly. Izuku's eyes widened when hearing that it's the psychotic doctors who are gonna experiment on him. Those words make him remember the Nomus. Once human, but dissected, put back together. They were stuffed with other humans' bodies, only obey their owners, and even have quirks from All for One. Izuku in rage activated One for All and punched the metal, but he got pushed back. Unknown character. Oh, don't try, the walls are made of vibranium and some tough metals that can withstand your punches. Izuku was still punching more and more at the wall as he kept upping his percentage, but the more he does it, the pain in his arms start to be felt. It felt painful for him, like using One for All with the drawbacks again. Unknown character. Stop that, you're just wasting your time and making yourself more tired. It won't be long until you can maybe be dead. Chuckles. Izuku. I'm not giving up, keeps punching. Unknown character. Then keep trying, cuts from the speaker. Izuku continued to punch for hours with no end, with his hands starting to slowly bleed more and more until he stopped. His hands were covered a bit in his blood, his arms tired, the inside of his arms feeling like a fire pit burning him. He then fall on his butt as he was trying to recover from the assault before trying again until he remembered something. Flashback. This was when Izuku talked to the second user of One for All during the war. Second user. So you want to use my quirk now, huh? Izuku. Hi, we already progressed far enough into the war and my body is ready. Second user. Sigh, okay, well here's the thing about my quirk, it's. End of flashback. Izuku got up on his feet where ran his hand across the metal, smooth. No dents from his punches, it's all reflected back to him. He then cocked his fist behind him as he didn't activate One for All, but the second user's quirk. As it happened, his eyes start to get a hint of red in it, before we focus on his arms where they were slowly being covered in dark color before it stopped, and the dark red color is then seen. As it happened, he then put his fist next to his waist before shouting, Izuku, RYO full assault. He then started punching the wall in fast repetition like he's playing a music pattern game, as all his punches hit the wall with it, not making much dent. He continued the assault for a few minutes before he cocked his fist back, activating One for All, and punching it one more time with a full power punch. After that final punch, he retracted it away and moved away from the wall. After a few seconds, metals on the wall then collapsed and fall apart, making a door shaped from where the metal was at first. He smiled as he looked at his fist to see it still covered in dark red substance before it faded. Izuku. Thanks you second for this quirk. Conqueror Will. Conqueror Will. A quirk from the second user of One for All. This quirk comes with two features to it that it can be mistaken as two quirks. The first feature of the quirk is nicknamed Fall, The user emits a hint of red in their eyes before they send an invisible pressure around them. It knocks out anyone within the area from the user's choice, and if the will of the opponents is weaker than the user's. The other feature, or is called Rio, the eye of the user, even emits a hint of red, but they instead focus their will on their body parts where it will be covered in a dark red substance. On the outside, if it hits someone or something, the strength is greater than before, but the hidden meaning behind it is even more powerful. It aims for the inside core of the object or person, that even the most toughest of things can fall, as their cores are like souls are vulnerable to this attack. It's like using an invisible needle and aiming it straight to the heart. Izuku then dashed out of the room, where he was not rushing to escape. He was rushing for the scientist that was a psychopath. Izuku knew exactly where he is, as YSingc detected the entire base they are in. When he was close, he heard someone shout it. Unknown character. Everyone. Izuku Midoriya escaped. Izuku then activated One for All and went in Godspeed towards the scientist. When he arrived, he see him mixing chemicals in his hand while he's smirking at it. Izuku pulled out his phone and started recording whatever the man has to say. Unknown character. Let's see if he can survive this. The government never lets me experiment with anyone in Hololive. Humanity needs to get better, and they will be cause of me. Grins. Izuku stared at the man with anger in his eyes. He doesn't know that if he were to do that, it would be like his world all over again. He ended his recording and slowly walked towards him with nothing but anger, with the intent to kill in his eyes. He was no longer hesitant in killing people, as he was doing it sometimes as a vigilante, and he only does it to people who are too far gone. And from Izuku's perspective, this man won't stop until he reaches his goal, so the best Izuku can do is send him 12 feet under for mentioning him trying to experiment with Hololive. Izuku. Scary tone. Hey, what you doing? Unknown character. Turns around. What drops his chemicals in fear. Izuku. What, you seem like you seen a ghost. From the scientist's point of view, the image of Izuku was flickering between him now and when he was a vigilante. Izuku. Seems like you need some lessons about life, and I'm not the one giving them. Eyes getting hints of red. As Izuku was slowly walking to him, he brought his fists back as they were covered in Rio. The scientist can only watch in fear, as he is watching one thing he never wished to see. He's seeing a demon in disguise. Before the scientist moved one step, Izuku dashed to him in mere seconds, making the scientist's eyes shaking more in fear. Izuku then delivered a quick punch to his chest, to which he spatted out saliva, but he felt like he was impaled by a spike, that some blood even came out. The scientist then stumbled back and was holding his chest, and he said this to Izuku in between his breath. Scientist, you're a monster. Izuku, and you're a dumb scientist for not realizing giving people superpowers will lead to a destructive war of villains and heroes. Scientist, what do you mean I'm going to make humans stronger? This is going to be an evolution. We humans can become the top of the food chain. Smiles insanely. Izuku, you know you of all people disgust me, so let this be a lesson for you before you go. Put Rio on his legs. The scientist saw this, and his eyes were widening even more before it all blacked out for him. We see that Izuku lifted his leg high and brought it down with such force that the head of the scientist was crushed to the ground, leaving him dead. Izuku just stared at his dead body with no remorse in his eyes, meaning he despised these type of people. Just as then, someone came out of a corner while looking at Izuku. Izuku turned around to see a girl with light blue eyes, gray hair, and she was wearing a unique outfit different from the other government members. Izuku, are you here to take me away? Unknown character. No, I seen the scene, and I agree on your perspective. It's not good for this world to have powers. Izuku, glad you understand. Smiles. Unknown character. Fake coughs while blushing. Anyways, nice to meet you, Izuku Midoriya. My name is Izuku. Zeta Vestia. Hololive ID 3rd generation member. Secret agent of the government. Zeta. Wait, you know I'm a secret government agent. Surprised. Izuku. What do you mean you said it in your stream? And the internet just exploded from that statement. Here, look, shows her the page. Zeta looks at the page and pales. I just went and careless admitted that nervously. Smile. Izuku. Meaning you're clumsy, but you were nervous during the stream that made you say that. Sweat drops. Zeta. Yeah, my bad. Anyways, how do you? Interrupted by an explosion. An explosion happened at the wall near them, and what came through made them both paled. Korone. Smiles. Huo. Izuku holding an RPG. Okay, Sorry, Izuku, she was worried for you since you were late. Walks in. Izuku. Jaws dropped. Why does that girl have an RPG? Zeta. Korone, what are you doing here? Korone. Oh my bad, I was coming for Izuku. Izuku. Wait, why me? I didn't even meet you. Okayu. Oh right, you didn't know we both could change into our animal forms. Izuku. Change animal forms, are you that cat and dog I got in the alleyway? Okayu. Yep, and we were actually attached to you so fast that Korone went here in a flash. Naya. Izuku. Wait, how did you even track me? Korone. I can tell why smiles while wagging her tail. Flashback. After what has been a few hours, Okayu and Korone were both in the living room doing their own thing. They were even on their phones checking social media before Korone decided to break the silence. Korone. Where's Master? Sad face. Okayu. Don't worry, Korone, he's probably getting caught up in something that he's late. Korone. I know that, but I want to go and find him, it's already lonely. Okayu. I know that as well because I also miss him already. Sigh. Korone. Cheery tone, then let's go find him right now. Okayu. I don't find it a good idea, but looks at the clock, he's been gone for a while. Okay, let's go. Korone. Why, but first I need YSingc to track him. Dashes to his room. Okayu. I swear she made up that excuse just to smell his clothes. Sweat drops. Okayu waited for a while before Korone came back out, and they then went to find Izuku. They were apparently approaching the alleyway, where Izuku got caught, where Korone then sniffed the place. Korone. Sniffs, I smell another scent along with Izuku's, and it doesn't seem like a nice on either. Okay. Welp, now we know he's probably in trouble. Korone. I'm coming. Izuku dashes off. Okayu. Wait, Korone runs after her. They dashed off for a while before nearing the government building where Izuku is held. Korone was frantically trying to get the door from the front base to open. Okayu tried to help, but she doesn't know how to hack the console to let them in. Okayu. Not good, we can't get in normally. Korone. Wait, let me try to find something. Walks off. Okayu. Okay, hope you can find something. Keeps trying every combination for the codes. While Okayu was trying to figure out the code, we go to Korone, where she was walking around the building. She was frantically checking every place around there to find a way to get in, like back door or something. She sighed but continued to try and find something before a shiny thing caught her eye. Korone looks at the shiny item. When she did, she saw an RPG lying right next to a guard who was leaning against the wall. She went up to him carefully before noticing he's asleep. She checked the RPG to see it has a bullet ready and loaded. Korone. Let's hope I know what I'm doing. Botan did try to teach me how to use guns. Grab the RPG. Maybe it will come in handy for this situation. She then went back to Okayu, who was looking up against a wall to try and find a ledge to get to the roof. She stopped when she heard footsteps coming her way, only to see Korone coming to her with a loaded RPG. Okayu. Sweat drops. Where did you find that? Korone. Next to a guard, he's asleep, so it was easy to get. Okayu. Is this a bad idea to shoot a RPG at the building? Korone. I can manage the damages, and besides, if it's for Izuku, then I'll do it. Determined. Okayu. Alright then, Sai, where do we shoot it? Korone. Sniffs the air here, points at a wall. Let's do this. Korone then putted the RPG over her shoulder before aligning her eye to the wall that she wants to target. Her finger was hovering over the trigger where she breathed in deeply before pressing it. It fired and blew up the wall to debris that made Korone happy that she dashed in with no warning, with Okayu following behind. Flashback end. After Izuku heard that, he just stared blankly at Korone, who was smiling like she was a kid with a candy. Zeta, on the other hand, just had her eyes open so wide like it was about to pop out. Zeta. Okay, since Izuku here seems to know about your existence, I suppose he can keep it a secret, can you? Izuku. Don't worry, I can keep it. Besides, I already met Tawa and her generation. Zeta. You met JP Gen 4? Widen eyes, how long did you know about this? Izuku. A few weeks ago. Zeta. Then thank God you didn't spill it, or else we will have to find a way to cover up the story. Izuku. Whispers, and mind not telling them about my powers. Zeta. Whispers, why so? I mean, Hololive has a lot of people that has powers, why can't you also show yours? Izuku. Whispers, I don't want to get bombarded with questions. Besides, I may be even forced to tell you guys something I shouldn't have, so please don't tell them. Zeta thought about it for a bit. I mean, why would a boy with powers try to hide it from others, even other people with powers? It was a bit skeptical, but it was even further suspicious that he says he would say something he should never tell. She, however, gave him the benefit of the doubt that it could be something he never wants to tell just yet. But there is a bad thing for Izuku, so here's a quote for you to guess. People who don't learn from their mistakes are doomed to repeat it. You will figure that out why in the future. Zeta whispers, okay, I'll trust your judgment, but that doesn't mean you're safe from meeting the others. Since you know of our existence, it's best to know everyone first. Izuku whispers, thank you. They both then turn to Okeu and Korone, who seems to be staring at them for a while when they were talking. They are like kids waiting for their parents to tell them what will they be doing. Zeta, okay, you two. Izuku will be meeting the rest of us since he knows about the existence of different species. Okeu, I don't mind because he doesn't seem to see us any different now. Look, points at Korone. Zeta was confused before looking at Korone to see her cuddling herself against Izuku while he was patting her head while smiling. Korone was enjoying it a lot, in fact, that she even cuddles against him more. For some reason, Zeta just felt a bit angry at the sight where she pout, but she can even see Okeu wanting to cuddle Izuku just from the look in her eyes. Izuku, however, noticed this when he saw both of them doing that face that he sighed and opened his arms more while saying, Izuku, come on, I'll give you your head pats. The girl's eyes glistened before charging at Izuku, running into his embrace. He smiled while he head pats them as they all enjoyed it while he chuckled a bit. After a few more minutes, he stopped, much to the girls not getting enough of it. Izuku, Zeta, weren't we supposed to be meeting the rest of Hololive right now? Zeta, right, let's go, leads them out of the building. Time skip. Zeta, and we are here, looks at Hololive HQ. Izuku looked at the building Zeta is looking at to see it massive in size. It was massive in size that it could fit at least over 1,000 people inside it. Even though Izuku is outside aura sense, can detect everyone in the building, with some having weak auras while some have powerful ones. Izuku knew that this place contains many unnatural people, but for some to have powerful auras is out of the question. He shook his head before taking a deep breath and looking at the three girls who were staring at him with concern. Izuku, okay, let's go in. Determined look. Korone, hope you won't freak out too much. Izuku, I think getting kidnapped by the government is one where you can freak out a lot. Okeu, well, that is true, and I'm surprised you're taking this well. Izuku, oh, I'm actually not, I'm really nervous. Zeta, in which way? Izuku, meeting the rest of Hololive, meeting my friends again, and how to tell them I got caught by the government. Zeta, I see, sweat drops. Zeta then walked to the front door before bringing out what appears to be an identity card before she brought it up to a scanner at the door, which flashed green before the doors opened. Zeta, shall we? The rest nodded before walking in with Zeta. As they were walking through the hallway, Zeta already sent a message to everyone in Hololive to meet up at the living room. Izuku was looking everywhere in the building to see door after door, but Izuku wasn't fazed as he seen many places in UA High. He, however, didn't expect for this building to be built just for Hololive, but he suddenly realized they are under the watch of the government, so they had to make them all comfortable. They then turned a corner before seeing a door at the end, to which Zeta opened. Zeta, I'm back now. Unknown character. Zeta, you're here, so I'm guessing we are here for a meeting or something. Zeta, yep, because apparently someone knew of our existence. Unknown character. Is this bad? Should we do something about it? Zeta, oh no, he kept his mouth shut, so he wouldn't tell anyone. Unknown character. Really? And it's a he? Well, that's something I thought. A boy who knows first will spill it all. Zeta, he knew about us a few weeks ago, so to clarify, he didn't tell anyone, which means he kept his word. Unknown character. If we are talking about this boy, then where is he? Zeta, come in, Izuku. Izuku then popped his head around the corner, looking at the whole room to see many girls, with some standing, some sitting on chairs, and some doing their own thing before looking up. Izuku, hi? Izuku was actually very nervous about how to present himself before some people spoke. Tawa. Izuku. Izuku. Oh hey. Tawa notices her gen mates. And hey Luna, Coco, Watame, and Kanata. JP Gen 4. Hey Izuku waves. Character. Wait, you girls know him? Watame. Yeah, he was the one who took care of Tawa when she was injured. Unknown character. Really, it was him? Well, that's even more of a shocker. Well, it seems it was going well before a goddess then joined. Fauna. Hello, little sapling smiles. Izuku. Hello, Fauna smiles. The girls in the room were shocked even more as Izuku seemed to know Fauna as well. Coming from Fauna, she is mostly in the woods, so for her to interact with a human was surprising. However, on the back of their mind, when they see Izuku smiling at Fauna, they felt a bit of pain in their hearts before it faded away. Izuku. I just hope nothing just exposes me. Unknown character. Well, let's introduce ourselves. Yeah, I'm skipping introductions cause if I intend to do every introduction, it's literally gonna take forever just to fill this page. If you want to know them, it's best to look them up since I'm too lazy for that thing. Koyori. Hey, what's your powers, by the way? When she said that, everyone in Hololive looked confused before looking at Izuku to see he paled up along with Zeta, who followed. Apparently, they didn't expect someone to know this quick. It was after Koyori's words that all the girls look at Izuku. He was sweating profusely along with Zeta, who was trying to cover Izuku from getting discovered. Zeta. What do you mean, Koyori? Izuku doesn't even have any powers. Koyori raised an eyebrow at Zeta like she was saying nonsense, to which she replied. Koyori, you sure? Here I have a video of a camera recording. Opens a panel. As she did, she then typed a few things before she swiped her hand to the side, to which the panel grew to a large size of a big TV screen. She then opened another panel, to which she pressed one button, and the screen lights itself in color as it played a scene. When Izuku saw what the first frame of it was, he froze. It was the same scene of when he was trapped in a metal box. If the girls see this, how are they going to react to his onslaught of attacks he performed? Not only that, what if she has even a recording of when he was confronting the now-dead scientist? How would they see him? The recording then played. It showed himself looking up with an unconscious face. He was lying down as his hand twitched, to which he woke up. He then proceeded to sit up before standing up. The whole scene plays out as the girls just watch it all play. It went through what the doctor said, but at one point he said this. Izuku. So I'm guessing you want me to not do anything outside too freely, huh? Unknown character. That's one of the reasons, but since no one is here, they won't mind me saying you committed suicide, chuckles darkly. The girls who knew Izuku widened their eyes before they heard a crack. They turned and looked at Zeta, who somehow had a glass of milk in her hands, but after she heard those lines, she gripped her drink hard that it started to break. Her eyes were even a bit in slits with her gritting her teeth. Zeta. That little psychotic doctor, I knew something was bad when the government let him in, but to think he would go far to hurt Izuku, just for his gains. Zeta was having a bit of a hard time calming down, and Izuku saw that, so he just went up to her. When she saw, she was confused, but met with a pat on her head. Her head was being rubbed carefully, but also in a way she enjoyed it. Her her little hairstyle even moved in rhythm with the rub. The girls who saw that pouted a bit, but continued to look at the video. In the video, after Izuku heard that, he started to punch the wall in rage, as we see his body spark up in color along with green electricity. He was even punching it very fast that the camera can only see him not moving his hands, but it's shaking from the pressure. The girls had their jaws dropped from the power displayed from Izuku, as it looks like he is going faster than the camera picks it up. Tawa, who saw it, suddenly replayed the day she got stabbed, but before she got unconscious, she heard some thuds and crunches. They all even happened very fast that she thought she must have been losing consciousness in a blink of an eye before regaining, then going back unconscious. In truth, it was Izuku slamming the thug very fast that he couldn't react. They all watched the video play as they all didn't say much, but just watch him try to punch the wall down. Corey. Well, apparently he was doing this for hours, so I have to skip to a part where he finally broke it. She then swiped her panel, and the screen responded by going forward by a few hours, to which we see Izuku on the floor panting with his hands bleeding a bit. The girls saw that the wall doesn't have a dent and were confused on how was he able to escape. By then, Izuku in the video stood up before the scene of him using Ryo played. Note, when he is using Ryo, no one can actually see it. It is only visible to him. Also, the camera here didn't pick it up, so they didn't see it at first. The girls were worried that he was destroying his arms even more, but when he delivered one more blow, it happened. The wall broke down into a door-shaped hole. The girls now even had their jaws dropped more, even Koyori. She may have seen the video, but for him to somehow destroy the metal vibranium, which is said to absorb all physical attacks and reflect them, was something she never expected to break from only punches. Izuku even sweated more and more bullets, and he felt like he doesn't want to be the center of attention right now. He was about to tell Koyori it was enough, but Koyori. Well, now time for one more video, as this is when he escaped. The camera then played the room where the psychotic doctor was in. He was mixing chemicals as he looked at them, examining them before smirking. Unknown character. Let's see if he can survive this. The government never lets me experiment with anyone in Hololive. Humanity needs to get better, and they will be cause of me. Grins. The girls feel a bit terrified, but mostly disgusted from the doctor, as one said. Coco, you're such a curse, you know that little trash. Humanity can't be better if mistakes are repeated throughout time. Sure, they may improve, but giving them powers will set everything in a loop of power and war for a long time that may even last forever. The girls nodded to that as Crony Eye, who listened, can only agree as she's seen humanity repeat its mistakes before finally getting out of its loop. The scientist was about to grab another chemical before a voice came that shook him and the girls. Izuku. Scary tone. Hey, what you doing? Unknown character. Hu turns around. What drops his chemicals in fear. Izuku. What, you seem like you seen a ghost. When Izuku saw that, he covered his face as the girls who saw him got confused. He was scared now of how they will view him, as the next scene will be of him taking someone else's life. Even though the camera can't pick up what's in the doctor's eyes, the girls can see a flickering image of Izuku and another version of him, which bore an image. Izuku. Seems like you need some lessons about life, and I'm not the one giving them eyes, getting hints of red. Izuku in the video then brought his hands in a punching position before teleporting straight to the terrified doctor before being met with a punch to the chest. He got launched back a bit, but he screamed loud in pain as he felt the power behind it rushing into him. He coughed up as they came out of his mouth. Scientist, you're a monster. Izuku, and you're a dumb scientist for not realizing giving people superpowers will lead to a destructive war of villains and heroes. Scientist. What do you mean I'm going to make humans stronger? This is going to be an evolution. We humans can become the top of the food chain. Smiles insanely. Izuku. You know, you of all people disgust me, so let this be a lesson for you before you go. Put Rio on his legs. Before he brought his legs down, we see the image splitting again, but this time Izuku's eyes flared in color as a trail was seen coming out of his eyes. He then brought it down upon the doctor, to which he crushed the entire soul of the doctor. The doctor was lifeless on the floor as he was no longer breathing. The video ended. The girls, as all they can do was stare at Izuku, who covering his face in fear of what they will say to him. He knew the video ended, and he was waiting for whatever was going to be thrown at him. He heard footsteps as they approached him, making him close his eyes behind his face, ready to accept whatever it is. The thing is, it never came. All that ever came was arms wrapped around him, making him open his eyes wide before he put away his hands to see Kanata hugging him along with Kanata. It was like that before two more pairs of arms revealing to be Korone and OK jumping on him, hugging him. Fauna, who was in the back, just look at the scene along with the others. They smiled because they want him to know they won't judge him differently, as they see his emotions just made him do this for a reason. Fauna. Izuku, we won't judge you differently. After all, you didn't see me or the others any different when learning about us. It's best to say some of us won't see you not any different from the kind person you are. Izuku just stared at Fauna in shock before he looked down, seeing the girls hugging him before he brought him arms around them. Well, only two of them, but he used black construct to also make another pair of arms to hug the other two girls. They cuddled against him, but well. Crack. Izuku suddenly squealed in pain as he now feel his body being crushed. He forgot about Tawa's info about Kanata having gorilla strength, that he was now getting crushed. The other girls who saw this snickered a bit when hearing it, since they also forgot to tell him about the fact Kanata is hugging him. Kanata, who realized what she was doing, loosened her grip, making Izuku stumble, but have his soul coming out of his mouth. Tawa, oh for God's sakes, pushes his soul into his body. Izuku. Gasp, is this going to be common for me? Kanata. Maybe if I hug you too hard every time. Izuku. Point made. They continued the hug, to which Izuku smiled as he now knows that he can have people who doesn't see him any different even if he kills people with a reason. Yagu, who was watching the scene, smiled, seeing the girls seem to have taken a liking to someone. He put his hand on his chin, thinking about something. Achan, who was there, saw the look on Yagu's face before turning to Izuku and back to Yagu to fully realize what he is going to ask. Yagu. So your name is Izuku Midoriya? Izuku. Yes, Yagu, is there something you want to ask me? Yagu smirked while looking at the girls, then back at Izuku, who stared at Yagu in confusion. Yagu. Want to become a streamer along with the girls? Silence. Izuku just stared at Yagu like he heard something. He had toxins and couldn't process this information properly. Izuku, wait, what? Izuku, wait, what? Izuku just stared at Yagu like he heard the most nonsense thing ever. Yagu was staring back at him with a smile on his face, to which he replied. Yagu. Well, normally we accept girls in our group, but due to you knowing about us, you also having a power, and how close in relationship you are with some of the girls' glances at the girls Izuku knows, I thought it would be a nice idea for you to join Hololive. Izuku. Wait, waves his hands. Isn't this gonna cause an uproar about a boy joining Hololive? Yigo. Well, you are right, but I'm sure we can be able to make them calm down before things go wildfire on the internet. Izuku. Well, if you're so sure, what about my work at the store? I was working there to pay off most of the stuff for me here. Not to mention, how would my boss react to me being late? Yigo. Is it okay for me to know which store you work at? Izuku. Oh, it's down the block of the east next to my apartment. Yigo. Oh, I remember, that makes it easier. Izuku. Wait, huh? Yigo. Oh, you're confused. Well, apparently I was good friends with the boss, so I can pull some strings, and he won't say anything about this. Izuku. And I guess that checks that off the list. Well, I guess I can accept. Scratching his cheek. Tawa. Wait, what about the people from when Izuku was seen by them? For all we know, there could be many. Izuku. Oh no, Tawa, don't worry, I know they won't recognize me if they see my streams, because they tend to forget after seeing many strangers in one day that they can't remember my face if they never interacted with me. Yagu. Then that settles it. Claps his hand together. Your debut in Hololive will be at least a few weeks later. You will be in a new gen, which we will reveal on the day you debut. Until then, get to know the girls here better, so you have no problems when you collab with them. Walks away. As he left the room, all the girls turned towards Izuku, who started to sweat bullets, as he didn't remember the last time he was the center of attention. Of course, he was a vigilante who had attention in his world, but it was for a good cause that he didn't care about it. Here, though, he was sweating a lot as he felt like he's a very limited All Might figurine ready to be snatched. By then, a girl came up to him as Izuku recognizes her from Zeta's General. This is Kayla Kolvaskia, a penguin. Kayla. Well, since he said that, how about we get to know each other more? Smiles. Izuku. Sure, I don't see any problems with that. Kayla. Well, let's start with the easiest one right now. Are you exactly human? Izuku. Well, rubs the back of his head. I guess you could say superhuman is the best way to put it. Koyori. Well, if that's the case, then is it okay for us to know what powers do you exactly have? Izuku. Sure, well, I actually have up to 7 different abilities varying in uses. The first one is called One for All. Koyori. Brings out a notepad. What does it actually do? Izuku. Is this how my friends felt whenever I write notes about their quirks? Sweat drops. Well, One for All is just a basic enhancing power that makes my strength, durability, and agility far more than it usually is. It varies in percentage as I choose how much power I want to output to receive an outcome I want. There usually was a backlash for this when I tried use this before learning about how to control the percentage. Choco, what was the backlash? Izuku. Well, whenever I first used this after me completely doing an action well, I end up with broken bones and swollen body parts. The girl's eyes widened while before being worried and concerned on how the boy must have felt every time he used his power. Fauna. Rushes to him. Are you sure you're okay now though, since in the video you were using it? Izuku. Blushes. Too close. Well, that's not exactly a problem now, as I trained my bee body enough to resist it. Fauna. Oh, thank God. Sigh in relief. I'm glad you were able to control it easily now. Izuku. Why, well, can you please move away so I can explain more? Fauna realized that before nodding and going away from him, but if you look closely you can see a slight blush on her face as she was a bit embarrassed from her action. Izuku. Ahem. Fake coughs. Well, my next ability is Flight. Self-explanatory. Proceeds to float up from where he was at. Sana. Now you look like an astronaut floating in space. Izuku. Well, I guess I kinda made it close to zero gravity. Scratches his cheek. Well, my next ability is called Black Construct. It manifests a dark substance I want that can be made into a weapon or as a way or moving around more. Black tendrils came out of his wrists. Its changes depends on my imagination on how I want it to be like. If I want a katana, black tendrils turn into a katana, I can make it so. Marine. Thinking pose. I wonder how good they are in bed. He hard eyes. When Rashaya saw Marine's eyes, she went to the back and brought out a bat with a word on it. She even put on some shades on before bringing the bat above Marine. Rashaya. Inhales in Ohoni. Bonks Marine. When she smacked Marine's head, Marine got face planted onto the floor with her being knocked out. The girls around them sighed while Izuku was there, just left dumbfounded in what he witnessed. Izuku. Why did you bonk Marine? Coco. Pats his shoulder. You're too innocent to know. Izuku was just left confused, but he didn't question it, as he continues to explain his abilities. Izuku. Next is Aura Sense. Well, the way it works is a bit complicated. For one thing, the basic thing is it detects danger whenever it is aimed towards me. Sora, detect danger? So in a way it tells you when you're about to get hurt by the person, and if so, how does it feel when that happens? Izuku. It's like a needle to the brain, depending on how much the person wants to hurt me. If they don't want to hurt me, then I detect nothing. But if they are willing to hurt me, or an attack that's dangerous is close, then it would send a signal to my brain and also increase my reflexes. Callie. So that is like some enhanced reflex system making you dodge the attack as if you predicted it? Izuku. Well, that was before I learned about its other ability. The ability to detect someone's aura. Zeta. Oh wait, what does that mean, you can detect their auras? Izuku. Apparently I can see where a person is when they are in the range of aura sense. They give off a glow on their body in my perspective that indicates on how strong they are. The color changes depending on who is stronger. Blue means they are weaker than me, orange is around the same level as me, and red is like somewhat stronger than me. Even then I can detect differences between everyone's auras here. Like for example, Callie's aura has a mix of orange and pink together, making me guess it's due to her ability as a Grim Reaper. Another is Fubuki, her aura has a mix of white and blue due to her being a white fox. Okay, then I guess you can even detect different species with their corresponding color? Izuku. Exactly, that's why everyone's aura here matches either their species color or the power you have. Time skip. Izuku got to know everyone in Hololive fairly well, as he spends more and more time with each of the girls to better know them. As the day towards his debut approaches, he feels increasingly nervous on how he should perform on stream. As if he couldn't see the time for his debut is just around an hour later. He was really a nervous wreck before a hand went on his shoulder, making him look over to the person. Yago, don't worry, everyone had this problem, you can do it easily, I know it. From Izuku's POV, the way Yago said it reminds him of his sensei, and the one to help me along his journey back at his world. He smiles from the memory before looking forward. Izuku realizes something. Wait, what exactly is my gen? Yago smirks. You're not exactly in a generation, but a part of the Hololive as a whole due to your fluidity in many languages your title will be called. Izuku was now in the stream room as he got his clothing on with the help of some tailors, as he gave them a picture of what he wants his clothing to be. He then looked towards his PC camera before hitting enter to start the stream. As he did, at least hundreds of people joined the stream. Apparently, when Izuku was first announced on Twitter to be a new member for Hololive, there were a lot of questions about why was there a boy joining, why is he there, and how is he going to act. Yago just said in tweet that he is going to be a unique boy for Hololive. Somehow that made the feed calm down as it made them curious about Izuku. As Izuku looked towards the camera, he introduced himself to everyone watching the stream. Izuku. Hello everyone, my name is Izuku Midoriya, and I'm the new member of Hololive. Chat. You're the first boy in Hololive? Izuku. Yeah, I am. It was a surprise when I was allowed, and scratches his cheek. Chat. How are you feeling right now? Izuku. Slightly nervous as this was the first time for me streaming. Chat. What exactly are you? Izuku. A human with superhuman abilities. The chat continues on to ask Izuku a question, and he answers them to the best of his knowledge, though when they were asking about cultured stuff, it just left Izuku confused and asked. The chat picked on quickly that he could be extrovert that doesn't know much about the internet, so they reframed from talking about that, making Izuku even more confused with him, having a few funny moments once in a while. The stream went by smoothly as nothing happened that much as he talks about his likes and dislikes, his goal being to help others if they ever need help. The chat had fun talking to him, with them acknowledging him as a unique boy, as Yago said. The stream was approaching the end of it before one person asked Izuku a question. Chat. What exactly is your gen called in Hololive? Izuku. Smiles. My gen is called, or rather my title is called. It was the next day for Izuku as he was already getting ready for his next stream. He was setting up his equipment before Louie came into the room to see him getting ready. Louie. Oh, did I come in at the wrong time? When Izuku heard her voice, he turned towards her as we see the pink hawk herself. She was standing by the door with her head peeking out, but she was hiding herself in case Izuku's stream is on. Izuku. Oh, Louie, no, you didn't. Waves his hands. I just finished preparing, and I would be streaming a few hours later. Is there something you need from me? Louie. I need your help with getting Lapis out of a wall. That comment made his face just went blank with the same expression before he asked, Izuku, what happened to her? Louis, well, let's say scratches her cheek with a sweat drop. Hachama just took the Kali yeet meme seriously and yeeted Laplas into a wall and made her horns pierce it. Noelle is currently in a stream right now, and as far as I know, you're the only one who can pull her out of the wall properly. Izuku. Okay, Sai, wait there, I'll be there in a quick moment. Louis nodded before leaving the room. Izuku stared before he grabbed his phone and opened it. He then went to a contact of his outfit designer while thinking, Izuku, should I do it? Thinking pose. Izuku just thought it would be best if he could do something similar to Gura, Akai, and Muna. And besides, with his title, it would also spark another title. He then decided to call his outfit designer and did some talking. The designer agreed with the request before they both end the call. Now after that, Izuku then went down the hallway as he was approaching the living room before he see the entire Hollow X at a wall with Iroha pulling on Laplas' legs trying to pull her out of the wall. She stopped to look at Izuku along with the rest of Hollow X. Laplas just did a fake crying face while talking. Laplas, Izuku, help me, I'm stuck to the wall. Izuku, alright, well, how do you want me to get you unstuck? Destroying the wall you're in or pulling you out? Laplas, I think I'll take the destroying the wall I'm in, as I'm scared to think of my horns detaching itself. Izuku, alright, stand back, everyone, this will be a bit of a powerful punch. Everyone else in Hollow X nodded before moving away from the wall. Izuku then approached the wall as he covered his arm in Rio, without no one knowing that he was doing it. He then lined up his fist, as he then punched the wall hard one time. Everyone else there was dumbfounded by what Izuku did before that. It did nothing to the wall, before they see the wall starting to crack, to which they all widened their eyes. After that, Laplas' horns popped out of the wall, before she fell down. Laplas groans, I was not prepared to save my fall. Izuku, well, picks her up as he gives her a piggy bag ride. Should I get you to Choco? Laplas, no, rubs her head against his, I think I just need some rest. Also, very fluffy hair you have there, enjoying it. Izuku, he thanks, scratches his cheek, I guess it's like Watame's fur. Iroha, let me see, rubs her hand against his hair. As she did that, she all of a sudden hugged Izuku while also rubbing her head against his hair. When she did that, Izuku's face started to heat up like a teapot before steams burst out of his ear. Izuku, tea too close, please, see, can you not do tea, that it's embarrassing. Iroha realized it before she moved away as her face started to blush in embarrassment. Iroha, sorry Izuku, your hair was just too fluffy, looking away. The rest of Hollow X just watched the scene unfold, and they couldn't help but feel a bit jealous, but they put it away as Iroha just enjoying Izuku's hair too much. Izuku, it's Fi here snoring. They all looked at the source to see Laplas sleeping peacefully while her head is nested in Izuku's head. He sighed at the scene before smiling. Izuku, well, I gotta take her to bed, I'll excuse myself, walks away. Koyori looks at Iroha, so how did it feel? Iroha, I'm blushing still like heaven's grace brushing against me. The other girls all of a sudden brought out a notepad and added this to their list of comforts. List of comforts. Number 1, most important thing, touch Izuku's hair. So change the camera to Izuku as he was walking across the hallway with Laplas sleeping peacefully on his head before he found her door to the room before he started to blink a lot. Apparently her door is very wide for some reason, but Izuku remembered her horns are always in the way of her whenever she does something, so she must have told the workers to make her door wide for her to go in with not much problems. He then put Laplas on the bed, but she was tugging on his sleeves like a little kid before she stopped. Izuku just smiled at the sight of it, as he thinks it was cute. Before he left the room, he kissed her forehead, which made her smile and get more comfy in bed. As he closes the door quietly, he then proceeded to walk down the entire building, because he still has time before his post-debut stream will start, so he will spend his time just going around the building. Possibly even get used to how much chaos it is here, as it somehow rivals his classmates when they were still living together in dorms. As he went down the hallways, he see many girls doing their own thing. Boten doing some tricks with her gun while she shoots them. Coco there as well as she burned down her target. Hollow gamers chatting amongst each other. Suisei talking with Sora about doing a cover soon, etc. Though that last part stuck to Izuku as he wonders what should his song be. Even if he does a song, what should his cover be? Those thoughts pile up on Izuku as he realized more and more on how much being VTuber meant for him. He put the thoughts aside as he will think about it at a future date. As he walks by a door, YSingc picked up a fatal attack to which he dodged it smoothly with his blade stuck against the wall, with Izuku's face close to it. He looks over to the door to see I standing there while being a bit shocked before she then rushed to check on Izuku. Izuku, are you okay? Are you hurt? Did I harm you in any way? Izuku. It's okay, smiles nervously. I kinda didn't know you were practicing with your katanas. But I almost hit you and got you either fatally injured or possible dead. Izuku. Look, it's okay, pats her head. I'm more stronger than I looked, so don't blame yourself for me, okay, smiles brightly. Just looked at him with a little tear out of her eye before she nodded and grabbed her katana and went away. Izuku. Geez, rubs the back of his head, who knew this could be harder to look after the girls when they start their chaos. Izuku then continued to walk around the building checking up on everyone just in case they need help. He then checks his watch to see it is almost time for him to debut, so he rushed back to his streaming room, where he started the stream. Izuku. Welcome back, everyone smiles. Chat. Welcome back, our savior. Izuku. You can just refer to me as Izuku rather than my title. Chat. Me calling you by your title somehow rolls better, but I'll consider it. Chat. Yeah, I will too. Izuku. Well, anyways, let's start this stream with what you want to talk about. Chat. You mentioned before you're superhuman, so what exactly are your abilities? Izuku. Sorry, can't tell, but if you want to know one, well, it's super strength, and it's self-explanatory. Chat. Then are you as strong as Kanata or Noel? Izuku. Hard to say, as I never tested it before, and besides we didn't meet that much, so we wouldn't know. Well, not on stream, but I am actually stronger than them if I bumped my percentage to 10%. Chat. Is it hard being the only male here in Hololive? Izuku. I'm not exactly, as I have to make sure everyone is okay, either streaming or off-stream. Chat. So you're like a secondary manager to them? Izuku. I guess that's the best way to put it. Chat. What do you want to refer to us as? Izuku. A good question, as I seen from Hololive they call you different names I'm looking up. Chat. How about calling us saviors? Izuku. Well, it would get confusing if you refer to my title. Chat. How about the saving squad? Izuku. Too plain, no offense. Chat. How about rescuer? Izuku. It doesn't feel right. The chat and Izuku tried to think of something as they racked their brains up. It went on for a lot of minutes as they couldn't fully decide on what Izuku should chat before he rang in with his idea. Izuku. How about young heroes? Chat. Hey, that fits well. Chat. I like it. Chat. You're the savior while we're the heroes. Izuku. But it fits, so I have no complaints. The rest of the stream went on as normal with them giving questions to Izuku about either his lore or origins. It took up 3 hours before Izuku said goodbye to his fans before he closed the stream. As he did, he leaned back in his chair as he let out a sigh of relief. Izuku. That drained my energy. He stood up and stretches himself to get his body to feel refreshed. As he finished, his pocket started to vibrate before he heard his ringtone. He brought up the phone to see the designer calling him as he picks it up. Designer. So about that outfit, we finished it as it was simple. Izuku. Thanks, I appreciate for your help. Designer. It's no problem really, I just know you're gonna do very well once you use this outfit. Izuku. He thinks it was an idea due to Gura, Akai, and Muna's personalities during stream. Designer. Either way, time to show your fans a surprise next time when you stream on gaming. Izuku. Yeah, thanks man, see you ends call. Izuku then moved his curtains away as he stared at the night sky outside with his lights on. He looked at how it glows amongst the darks as he smiles. Izuku. Time for another show my fans would like. It was the next day as Izuku was having his hands behind the back and was walking towards the kitchen. He was getting ready for the morning as he was washing his hands and started preparing food. He even made himself a coffee just to wash away his tiredness. In the process of making the food, Miko came into the dining room as she sees Izuku doing his thing as he moves, switches focus on different food as he works efficiently. She was drooling looking at the food as it seems to be a lot. She didn't understand why though he was making a lot of food until Tawa came into the room. She looked toward Izuku, as when she smelled the aroma of the cooking her face just stayed neutral, but you can see a drool coming out of her mouth. Back to Izuku, he seems to be wearing headphones all of a sudden as he started singing a song. He was singing the song as his mind went back to everything how he came into the way he is now. Pain he endured during childhood. Izuku can be seen getting bullied a lot due to his quirkless status. His constant reminder of putting on a fake smile to push through everything. When he reaches home, his mom was at the door only for him to smile, saying everything was okay. Only to be met with a world where he was happy with everything. He was seen talking to many people in the school as he helps each of them slowly with how to use their quirks, but also with their personal problems. But it all came down. A face of All for One can be seen smirking as he started to laugh. When it all came to the loss of his own emotions. Izuku was just seen standing in front of the burnt bodies of his classmate as his eyes can only stare in shock. Yet he tries to hold himself together, but only for him to do what he regret. Except he knew it has to be done. This time Izuku was standing in front of a dead All for One body as he just looks at it with his eyes looking like void. He didn't even realize he was tearing up as the song ended. Miko and Tawa can only stare at him confused, but also worried on what he was thinking. Tawa, without thinking, walked up to Izuku and hugged him from behind. Izuku flinched from the response as he got caught by surprise, but he turns around to see Tawa, burying her face in his back as he smiles and continues cooking. Miko could only look at both of them as if it was a scene of a married couple. That thought somehow hurts her, but she put it aside as he knew Tawa more so he would be more comfortable with her. Izuku, you know you didn't have to hug me from behind, pats her head. Tawa, don't question me, you look you needed one. Izuku, all right, but I'm cooking here, so how about you go sit by the table while I cook food for everyone? Tawa nodded as she went to Miko, telling her to sit by the table as Izuku was cooking the food for all the girls. Miko, wait, what is he going to be okay since it's going to be a lot of food? Tawa, oh don't worry, it's Izuku we're talking about, besides he would have set the food in 3:21. Right on. Izuku was already at the table eating his katsudon, as on multiple separate tables there lies a lot of food of different kind on each of them. Miko had stars in her eyes that she went to a table that had the label for Gen 0 as she was eating the food she was given, as she couldn't help but have a tear in her eye from the exotic food that poured in the mouth. Tawa couldn't help but giggle at her reaction, as she must have reacted like how she did before she went to her table and started to eat her food. It wasn't long before all the girls from Hololive came into the dining room only to be met with the smell of the food. Many of the girls already sat at their tables as they all started to eat. Luna, while burps, excuse me, but who made this? Subaru, obviously not Hachama. Hachama, oh come on, I still make good food sometimes. Mel, sorry but I have to agree, also let Hato speak now. Hachama, fine. Hato, still I can't get over how good this food tastes, it just feels like me floating above heaven. Kanata, it does give me those vibes. Gura, but who made this? Chewing. Tawa and Miko, he did points at Izuku. They all look at Izuku as he was enjoying his katsudon in peace. He seems to be savoring his food because he was not paying attention to the stares he was getting from the girls that were wondering how he made the food. Time skip. Izuku, so I use this right? Chat, yeah, if you use that it will be effective against that enemy. Izuku, cool, alright, use Garo Bicorn. He was looking at the screen as he seems to be playing a turn-based game as he told his character to use a move. His character did as it used Garu against an enemy, which knocks his enemy down, while also the word weak was seen. Izuku, alright, an all-out attack. So yeah, he was playing single-player games for a bit, but he will reach multiplayer games soon in the future. He played the game for most of his stream as the chat was instructing him on what to do as he follows. This is him after he finished his streams. He was just stretching in his chair, but he was also having a dumbbell there as he starts to use it to exercise his arm. Habits never die, huh? So does the blood god. Anyways, Izuku was now at the window as he was meditating there. He was just in peace with the place as the flowers were blooming. The birds chirping, it just felt nice to sit down and relax for a change. Well, at least until Izuku opened his eyes in surprise only to see Noelle, who was standing at the door smiling as she scanned the room before spotting Izuku. Izuku looked at her confused before he got pushed very hard, slamming him outside of the building as he broke through the glass. Noelle, tag your IT. Izuku then started to fall as his face just looked perplexed. Izuku, the hell? Nay, scenarios and wonders just play off in Izuku's head like a cinema film as he finally recovers before using flight to fly up, but he then decided to use Black Construct and use tendrils stretching onto the side of the building as he pulls himself down before launching himself back up. He then got back into the living room only for Noelle to not be there anymore, as he then started to use Aura Sense. He then detected someone behind a wall as he opened the door, only to be met with Mel, who was just standing there quietly. Mel, hi Izuku. Izuku, hi, mind telling me what's happenings right now? Mel, oh, you weren't informed? Well, since everyone is free right now and have no stream, we all decided to have a game of tag. Izuku just blinked like multiple times, confused as hell on why a game of tag was being played by everyone in Hololive. Izuku, by everyone did you mean? Mel, yep, even Hollow Council is even playing. He rubs her head. Izuku, are you all just children in disguise? Mel, no, I mean it's fun to kick back and be a kid once in a while, you know. After all, we can't forget our childhood, as it is one of our origins. Izuku, one of our origins. Looks down. Mel just looked at Izuku as he was not moving at all, and it was worse. She poked him, but he didn't respond. She kept poking him as he didn't respond, that she just went behind him and bit his neck, making him flinch from the sudden pain. Izuku, Mel, why did you do that? Rubs the bite mark. Mel, you weren't responding, so I had to snap you out of it. Also licks her lips. The vital fluid tastes a bit sweet, mix in with different flavors. What type is this? Izuku, oh. Mel, it tastes better than I thought, but anyway, that's our game. Izuku, then you're at cause I was at so peace. Mel, curse it, he got me. So, this was the end of part 2 of this series. Stay tuned for next part of this series, and if you like this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Until next time.